Today on Canning 101, we are discussing botulism. What's the best way to get over your fears? It's actually education. If we can understand what scares us, we can figure out ways around it. Now, botulism is no exception to that rule, all right? All botulism is a bacteria, and this bacteria is in everything. It's in our food, it's in our water, it is airborne in some situations, and we have to learn to live with this. Now, what turns it from being a bacteria that is in everything to something so deadly and so toxic? Well, the environment. It has to be put under a certain condition in order for it to turn into botulism. So what are those conditions? They are low acid, low oxygen, low salt, and low sugar. Everything that is canning. Okay, so now we know the conditions. We know that this bacteria is in pretty much everything. How do we protect ourselves from it turning into something so deadly? Time and temperature. That's it. Now remember, when it comes to canning, you've got your water bath canning and you have pressure canning. Water bath canning focuses on foods that are really high in sugars, like the jam that I made the other day. Things that are very acidic. Again, this is a condition that botulism does not like. So when we water bath can food, typically botulism is not part of that equation with water bath canning because of your conditions. High acidity, high salt, pickling, right? So anything that's going to be pickled, you can pickle fruits, you can pickle vegetables. If it's got vinegar in it, it's a high acidity food. You don't have to worry about the botulism. If it is a high sugar processed food, or you add a lot of sugar to it, like your jams and your jellies and things of that nature, your syrups, again, not a condition botulism likes. And then, of course, the low oxygen, while that is a condition that they prefer, the acidity level or the sugar level or the salt level is going to completely void that bacteria. So what we're looking at is pressure canning. With pressure canning, we are going to be taking every single thing that botulism loves and putting it in one jar. No oxygen or little oxygen, low acid, low salt, low sugar, everything they love. So how do we avoid botulism taking over? And that is easy. Time and temperature. So the proper time that you're looking for is anywhere between 20 minutes and about 100 to 120 minutes, because your elevation plays a part in this. We discussed this in a previous episode on my Q&A on why is elevation important. Well, to recap, water boils at different temperatures and different elevations, and so you have to adjust for that. So if you are at a higher elevation, you're going to be adding time to your processing to ensure the correct environment to kill the bacteria. Now, is botulism something to be fearful of? Yeah, sure. Is it something that should prevent you from canning? Absolutely not. Matter of fact, I want you to go to this website. It's called the National Botulism Surveillance. Check them out. Now, I went on their website this morning and there's nothing past 2018. Could that be because of COVID and everything is being blamed as a COVID death? Possibly. But I have no idea. So I went into 2018 and I decided to look up their statistics. And I'm going to read this to you because this is quite fascinating. So there are different kinds of botulism. All of them can kill you. So I'm not going to really go into it, but there's like wound. You can get it in your wounds. You can get foodborne. There's infant botulism. So in 2018, for the United States, 162 infant cases, 61 wound cases, 18 foodborne. 18 out of 340 million people, 18. And one was listed as other, and they listed it as a probable adult intestinal colonization. Out of all of those cases, nobody died. So, here are some symptoms to look for just to put your mind at ease with botulism. Now, while modern medicine has fantastic ways of keeping us safe and getting us healthy, especially after food poisoning and situations like this, the absolutely best practice is preventative. Don't even get to that point where you're sick, right? So your best thing to do is follow the directions. If it tells you to process it for 20 minutes, look at your elevation. Make sure you don't have to add time to it like I do. I have to add an additional 15 minutes to everything that I'm processing. And that is going to ensure the correct environment to prevent any form of botulism. That's all there is to it. I really hope this answers some of your questions. Put your mind at ease. If you have any more, please feel free to ask me. I'm sure I missed a couple of things, but the most important thing to understand is your time and your temperature are the two things that are going to prevent botulism. If you have foods that are already high acidic or high in sugar or high in salt, those typically are not going to form any kind of botulism. Do you still want to process them? Please understand that. In a water bath canner, you still want to process for the correct amount of time in the correct temperature. That is still a mandatory thing to help that seal and keep that food fresh. Does not mean you can just set it on your shelf and not process it. It does not work that way. As far as your pressure canning, again, this is the best environment for botulism because it has everything the botulism loves. So keep with your time, keep with your temperature, and you will not have that problem.